Hi, this is Jacqueline Eckern with Eating Disorder Hope, and today I have the pleasure of interviewing Robert Yagoda, who is the founder of Turning Tides in Florida. And with that, I'd like to introduce Robert. And Robert, please share with us your background and your experience.
Hi, well, I'm Robert Yagoda. I am, on top of being the founder and CEO here at Turning Tides in Jacksonville Beach, Florida, I've also been a clinician for 16 years. I've been, out of that 16 years, 15 has been in eating disorders. My first internship coming out of school was everybody wanted to work at the eating disorder place, and I didn't really have a preference, and I got chose to. I kind of, by osmosis was thrown into it. And then, of course, I just, I love the population. And ever since then, I've been working in, in eating disorders, but also I'm an addictionologist. So I have that co-occurring with, addictions. And we also know with bulimia, alcoholism is very much associated with that pathology.
Yes.
So that's, a little bit about me. I've helped open and worked for several places around the United States, but this was my passion project coming to Jacksonville, where we didn't have any services here for eating disorders.
Yes.
I moved up here, I got us licensed, Joint Commission accredited, and we opened the doors, and we became the first eating disorder facility here in Jacksonville and the surrounding area.
So congratulations, and everyone watching, I just want you to admire Robert, because it takes a lot of entrepreneurial drive to do that and get all the licenses. And thanks to him, we now have care in Jacksonville, Florida, which is really important. Robert, can you tell us a little bit more just about your role in terms of day-to-day, what you do?
Yeah, so on top of being the founder and COO, I'm also the clinical director. So I manage the clinical staff. I'm very blessed to have my lead dietitian, who has a plethora of experience, who's kind of the dietary program manager. And we also have a full nursing staff here, and my clients all get weekly labs. And we also have a doctor on site here who sees all the clients once a week. So we have a full multidisciplinary team. I've learned in my experience treating eating disorders, especially in the outpatient setting, it only works when all the providers are all talking to one another.
Yes.
It's hard when everyone's on very different pages. So that's how I know this model works. Sometimes it's not always the most cost efficient, but it's not really what's important. It's important that the clients, whether they're getting their first intervention here with us in their first assessment, learning to see what kind of eating disorder they might have, or are they stepping down for a higher level of care and they need that transition to just get back into their everyday life.
Yes, absolutely. It sounds like it's very important at Turning Tides to have a cohesive team that communicates closely about each individual client and their care.
Yeah, our clients understand that staff splitting is very hard here.
Yeah, I agree that whether it's inpatient or outpatient or IOP, really, it's that team of people that you connect with on a soul level that ends up fueling your recovery. And that's really important. So just stepping up a minute, I know how you kind of ended up in eating disorders, but what drew you personally to behavioral health and the treatment field?
I just think growing up in South Florida and, and also having family members who have suffered from mental health issues. When I graduated college, I was a communications major, and the only part I liked about my job working in advertising was problem solving. And, when I found that after a year, it just wasn't my calling, I always thought, being a therapist was something that would be really a good fit for me.
Yes.
I like to be empathetic. I'm an active listener and a problem solver. I'm a very solution-focused therapist. I don't want to do years of psychotherapy. I like to kind of get to let's see where it started, where we're at in the middle, and where we're going to finish at the end. So, naturally, I, fell into behavioral health. And when I first decided to go back to school to get my 2 masters, I didn't really know where I saw myself in the field. That's why, ironically enough, I was, I did internships at psych hospitals, the prison, plenty of substance abuse. I'm from South Florida, so there's a million substance abuse centers all over South Florida. And then, like I said, I ironically got an internship working at an eating disorder clinic that everyone wanted, and they dropped me in a group full of 13 borderline clients, and they said, figure it out. So I said, "Ooh, what's this DBT thing? Oh, let's work." So,
isn't DBT the bomb? I just love DBT.
Well, I think it really resonates with our clients because, especially our clients, I mean, I think it's good for everyone because most of our clients are very intelligent people, and they tend to over intellectualize anything that's wrong with them, especially, and what we know in eating disorder is not just one thing, it's a culmination of things. Giving them simple steps, that are concrete, it just seems, and constant repetition.
Yes.
Is, it seems to me like it's the most helpful thing out of a lot of the therapies. I mean, radical acceptance is, of course, where we want everyone to be, but it's a process. So we also do here, Jacqueline, a lot of food exposures and a lot of experiential therapy, because eating disorders, that's a big part of the treatment modalities. There's the fear behind the grocery stores, the restaurants, and especially now being COVID, a lot of our clients, they were stuck at home, and when your whole perpetual thought all day is food, 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 it really makes your disease, whether you've been in recovery for 20 years or 2 years, you start having to question, your tool bank again, not fall back into old behaviors and patterns.
So when clients do exposure response therapy, what does that give them when they are out of treatment? What do they hope to benefit from that? Because I think if you're just entering treatment in the throes of your eating disorder, that sounds really scary. And I want those folks to understand why it's worth it and what you get from that.
Well, I think with the exposure therapy here, especially since all of our clients eat on our dining hall and they get their meal plans, because we're an outpatient, we are a place that tends to honor where they're coming from or where they're starting from. Once they start practicing eating with one another and also giving them some concrete, whether it's, keeping some kind of tool chart with them, measuring their anxiety, going through their grounding techniques. We do a lot of grounding here, making sure that they're staying present, then the next day when they come home, we're already asking them, how was your dinner exposure? Let's talk about that. And then the whole group goes into it. And through a process of a couple months, now they've desensitized what that looks like. And we do take them into a restaurant once a week. We are taking them to a clothing store to challenge body, their body dysmorphia and the ideas that they have. A lot of them think they're a size 6, but in, all reality, some of them are coming in at a size 2. But with that distortion, they're working with a psychotherapist and a dietitian to break through it. So, we are very individualized. There's no one treatment plan for one client. So everyone here is, we always say, everyone gets to take their own inventory today.
I think we can all use that. That's really good. I love that. And one of the things I was very excited about while we've been talking is you talking about your own personal philosophy of solution-focused therapy. And as the leader of Turning Tides, that just drips down. So it's not like, okay, let's just be in therapy forever and hope you get better. It's like, let's look at what's going on and find solutions. So I think that's so empowering to the sufferer and the families.
Well, and especially when we're doing clinical staffings, my clinicians know how I am. Okay, so don't come to me with a client's big problem and not tell me what kind of interventions, what evidence-based interventions have we actually used? Because all of our clients are difficult. There's no easy client. And that's not even just eating disorder, that's just in general. So especially when we get clients here that are lawyers and doctors, I'm almost telling them that they're fired. They're not their own lawyer anymore. They're not their own doctor anymore. They have to surrender to our process.
Yes, and that's surrender and radical acceptance.
And, and we also deal with adolescents. And one of the challenge with adolescents is also we're dealing with a huge family dynamic.
Yes.
In here is the identified patient, and there's generally a whole system behind them that we're systemically trying to work on. And, if the parents aren't buying in, then it's going to be very hard because they're the ones that have to be strong enough to plate food and hold the child accountable.
Yes.
And giving them those tools. A lot of the parents, they just want like a 1 month fix, and it's like, whoa, it's not going to take them. It's going to take more than a month before things start really working out. But we've had very good success with our adolescents at this level of care. I was actually surprised. So, and like I told you, like if the clients are needing a higher level of care, we'll send them off to a higher level of care, get them stabilized. They generally always come back.
That's fabulous. So I can imagine folks watching that have an adolescent child that is struggling with eating disorders. I know because I had an eating disorder in adolescence, and I was the identified patient, and I was pretty difficult. I know how beat down the parents get and siblings and everybody. Can you just give them a little bit of hope, telling them how you empower them to help hold the kid accountable when things have been so strained, how there can be healing and they can move forward in that relationship?
Yeah. So, when parents come here, they're very scared because when you're a mama and a dad and you love your kid so much, you just want to fix a problem that's broken. What we do here at Turning Tides is we want to take a little bit off their plate and give them actual concrete tools to start practicing. And we really want them really part of the process. So we really try to make our families we empower them as they're part of the treatment team.
Yeah.
Without their help, because we don't go home with the children at night, and all we can really go on is we have a young disgruntled adolescent, and we have the parents, and there's this truth, and then there's the truth in the middle. So, we're just being very empathetic and passionate, and, we're holding the parents accountable too, because it's very, very hard. And we have so much empathy for the parents because, there's also other siblings, and there's, then we're bringing the siblings in for therapy, and we're hearing all the resentments that the IP is taking up all the system.
Right.
Resentments there. And then, also mom and dad making their child also accountable. So when they are going to school, are they using their food logs? Are they really understanding their food exchanges?
Yeah.
Where are they with accountability and just, their overall global mood? So, those are just, and like I said, there's so many individual cases that you and I could probably sit here for hours and talk about, but just a general way that we facilitate family therapy here at Turning Tides.
That's really inspiring, and it would be very hopeful to me if I had an adolescent dealing with this. Does Turning Tides also treat the co-occurring issues like depression, anxiety, bipolar, etc.?
Yes. So all of my therapists here are licensed. They are all have experience in dual diagnosis. We also have our on-staff psychiatrist who sees them once a week. So we address any kind of mood, any kind of personality disorder. Now, if we think that the psychiatric disorder is way more pronounced right now than the actual eating disorder, we might make a referral to stabilize some of that energy and then bring them back to address the eating disorder, because it's very hard to reach someone who's not, mentally in a place where they're able to receive the information, whether it be their mood, their major depression or anxiety. But 9 out of the 10 clients that come here all have major anxiety issues. Most of them have a lot of OCD issues, and those are things through flooding and other experiential therapeutic things that we help stabilize the side effects. But education is also very key. Educating, especially we're very careful how we label our adolescents, because I don't want them to have to wear a label, especially a mental health label, because some of them will play way up to it.
Yeah, true. Oh, yes.
So on top of educating them and really educating mom and dad, or whether it be one of our adult clients on symptom management, it's a huge thing. At least once or twice a week, there's a group here focusing on symptom management.
Nice. Nice. It's very encouraging. And another question I had for you is, can we just real quickly go over the levels of care you offer, and if there's going to be any expansion or anything that you envision over time?
Yeah, so we are an outpatient, but outpatient meaning that we have a partial hospitalization program. It's 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. It goes from 9 o'clock in the morning till about 3:30 in the afternoon. Then we have IOP for adults as well. That's either 3 or 5 a week. We customize. When you get to that IOP level, that just means you don't really need to be having the 2 snacks that are required at PHP. You're more just having your therapeutic groups, lunch, individuals, nursing, and doctor visits every week.
Yes.
And we have an adolescent evening track, so the kiddos can still stay in school, and that starts from 4:15 to about 7:30 at night, and that's 3 days a week. And the adolescents, I'm sorry, they're required to have dinner here. And that's actually one of the most powerful interventions we have with the adolescents, because a lot of them have built in these really crazy thoughts about fear foods.
Yes.
Some of that, and it's, that really black or white thinking, all or nothing.
Yeah.
Really trying to teach, the adolescents and the adults and everyone who comes to us, we got to find the gray, because not it can be so black and white.
Yes.
They go on a vacation and your safe foods and your list of might not be there. So we need to know that you have the skills to make good informed decisions for your own care.
Absolutely. And to soothe themselves, so it's just not hell for them to be on vacation and have to adjust their meal plan. And those skills are so valuable. I am so impressed with Turning Tides. I would absolutely go to your program. And I'm thankful to you for being a generous, exclusive sponsor of our Florida program. So Turning Tides is wonderful. We really encourage you to check them out. What website should they visit?
You can reach us at www.turningtides.com.
Okay, fabulous. And I also have a number for Turning Tides where you can reach Robert and his team at 855-219-6196. Thank you for your time today, Robert.
Oh, I appreciate it, Jackie. And you keep doing the great work that you guys do as well.
Thank you.